All right, friends, welcome to the 700th broadcast of our online community, where we have learned Torah for almost 3 years, found each other, found meaning across the expanse, across the world. So sending love and strength and joy to all of you, warmth on this chilly day here in New York. So we are in Parshat VAYIGASH. It is the penultimate parsha in the book of Breshit. We are nearing the end of the Joseph story, and this is where the build-up leads. Joseph was hidden from everyone, probably even from himself, in some deep ways. He's in disguise, he's incognito, at least his brothers don't recognize him after all the years of estrangement, after they abandoned him, after they hurt him. And here he is, almost the most powerful person in the world. He's second in command to Pharaoh. And he tests his brothers. He tests them by setting them up. He places a goblet in the sack of the youngest brother Benjamin when they take their rations back to Canaan. And then he accuses Benjamin of stealing and gives the brothers the opportunity to do to Benjamin what the brothers did to Joseph, which is to abandon him out of the sight of their father. And they give him a different response. They offer themselves instead of Benjamin. They don't want to hurt Benjamin. They don't want their father to suffer grief. And they clearly have done what Rambam describes as tshuva, which is after you've sinned, real repentance is you're in the same situation and you make a different decision. They model what it is to grow as human beings. They offer us a model of beginning again, of coming back into relationship with loved ones with whom there's been shared hurt. And they breathe. And Joseph can't hold it back anymore when they show tenderness and solidarity with each other, when they sacrifice themselves instead of Benjamin. And Joseph begins to cry. And there's a famous verse about Joseph and Benjamin embracing each other. I want you to hear the Hebrew, just let it in. The Hebrew is Vayipol al tzavrei Binyamin achiv vayevk uVinyamin bacha al tzavarav. This translation, which is the JPS 2006 translation, with that he embraced his brother Benjamin around the neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. And that scene is so overwhelming. It is so beautiful, hopeful, intense. And tradition has read into that embrace lessons for the future. I want to read you 2 comments from Breshit Rabbah, which is an ancient collection of Midrash. It's about 2,000 years ago, about this hug. And I want you to remember that the verse says that he hugged Benjamin around the neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. It was reciprocal. Both of them have gone through things. Benjamin, I'm sure, grew up hearing tales of his brother who used to be the youngest. And this is what Breshit Rabbah says about this hug. When Joseph fell on Benjamin's neck and wept, said because the temple were to be built in Benjamin's Torah, and which would ultimately be laid in ruins. The suggestion by Breshit Rabbah is that somehow Yosef saw into the future and saw that the Beit HaMikdash, which would be built in the Binyamin section of Jerusalem, in the tribal section, it would be destroyed, and so Joseph wept. And then the text, remember the verse says that Benjamin wept on Yosef. Why? Because there was another temple built in Shiloh, in Yosef's territory, actually Ephraim's territory, and it would also be laid in ruins. And so they wept on each other with prophetic insight about future pain. But what I want to say is that if you know your Jewish history, why were there 2 different areas with 2 different temples? Why was there a Beit HaMikdash in Jerusalem at the same time that there was a Mishkan in Shiloh, another temple in Shiloh. Why? Because even though toward the end of Breshit, we see the brothers coming back together, it doesn't last. It doesn't last in Jewish history. It doesn't last in history. Reunions are often temporary in human history. Peace is often ephemeral in Jewish history and in history. And one of the things that we need to think about is there was a civil war in the Jewish people with the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah, and both established holy places. But when you tear your family apart and you decide to forget the lessons of the past and you allow estrangement to be a next chapter too, nobody wins. Everybody's house breaks. And so the powerful reconciliation moment here is reciprocal. They cry on each other's shoulders. And all I want to say about this is that as the United States of America and as the State of Israel, each experience tribulation, where there seems to be some respite here and there from struggles. There seems to be some kind of togetherness here and there. We are worried with good reason that brothers and sisters have forgotten how to hold each other, to remember that they're all carrying something. Perhaps as we move forward through time, here and there and everywhere, the Torah offers us a guide, offers us a reminder that once upon a time our family was full of pain and loss and estrangement, and then one day there was forgiveness. One day, brothers fell on each other's necks weeping for everything that had been, afraid for what could be, but knowing in that moment that nothing was more important than having each other. I'm going to bless us in that very not so simple of ways, that we should make effort to find each other, to remember that everyone has gone through something, and that distance within the family, it doesn't lead to peace. Remembering that everyone has a reason to cry, holding on to each other gently, giving us each other's shoulders to cry on, finding each other again and saying, tell me what you've been through. That's actually a path. That's a path that could lead toward peace. And please God, may the peace that we will achieve last a little bit longer this time around. Blessing you with that. Let's sing our way into a good day, friends. Thank you for joining this beautiful Torah community for 700 mornings so far. Have a beautiful day, friends. See you tomorrow.